Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I know I've been gone for I don't know, has it been 2 weeks now? 3 weeks maybe? I'm not really time is kind of all over the place for me. But yeah, I am actually really excited to make this podcast. It's something that I have been wanting to talk about for a while, and I mean if you've known me, followed me, whatever, you know I have ADHD, and it's real. And for those of you that have been around for a very, very long time, you know that I hyperfixate on things, and you know that I tend to start things and never finish. But I assure you, this podcast is not one of those things. It's just I get distracted, but also work and whatever. And it's funny is like I started when I started this podcast, I really wanted to like go balls to the wall and stick to a routine, make a bunch of podcasts, publish every week on a certain day. And when I wasn't able to keep up with that because of work and life, like it started really fueling my what is it? I think it's like rejection dysphoria. I think that's what it's called. Um, which is a thing if you have ADHD, like you don't want to fail. And if you feel like you're failing, like it just triggers that, and then it's just like then you get put in this like freeze state and you don't want to do anything because you're like, why should I? What's the point? I don't think I should even bother, which I kind of got into that phase with this podcast. And like, I honestly, I missed a week because of that. And I just kind of like spiraled. But then, I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? No, this is supposed to be like just a creative outlet for me. It's not supposed to be something serious or anything. Like, it's just supposed to be something fun and hopefully help people that, struggle with day-to-day things or just want something interesting to listen to. But I don't know if I'm interesting, but that's a whole other thing and that I'm not going to get into. But anyways, yeah, so like I really wanted to make this podcast for a while, and I've been kind of thinking about how I was going to record it, what would I talk about. So I've been kind of like reflecting for the last like week or so about it. I've been talking to a few people about what they kind of would want to know. I've been talking to my cousin recently and she's been asking me some questions, and I'm like, you know what? Like maybe I'll add a little section in the podcast answering some of these questions. So that'll be a little bit later. So I've been clinically diagnosed with ADHD for probably 10 years. No, surely I think it's been longer than that. I was diagnosed in like, oh wow, I just looked at the date. Okay, so I was diagnosed in 2010, and it's 2024. So a little bit more than 10 years. 14. Yeah, so it's been a while, and I was on Adderall for 7 years, and my doctor at the time didn't tell me what being on Adderall could do. So like if you're on Adderall, something that I hope your doctor tells you is that you need to work out 100%. You need to keep your heart healthy. Otherwise, you can develop tachycardia. I would know because I developed tachycardia and I hate it. It's awful, and it has really, really given me a hard time. So definitely work out and take care of yourself if you choose to take the Adderall. I will say it definitely helped me being on that. But yeah, I don't think it was worth it for me at least, because heart stuff runs in my family. So yeah, I decided after 7 years of being on Adderall, I was like, I need to get off it. So I weaned myself off, And I started that whole journey of like finding ways to manage it without medication, because I'm one of those people that doctors hate. Like I walk in there and I'm like, I don't want to be on medication unless I'm about to die. Like, don't give me a pill unless I'm about to walk out of this place and just collapse and death falls upon me. Like, and that pill is the only thing that's going to save me. Like, that's the only way I'm going to take this fucking pill. So doctors don't like me very much because they can't make money off me, because I'm like, eh. But what I loved about my old doctor is she loved that about me, and she constantly helped me figure out like what would help me. And honestly, that's what started me. Like, I started using CBD and just cannabis products to manage it. I used it first. I could honestly do a whole episode on cannabis products and how it's helped me, but I'll just quickly go through it. I actually used cannabis to help me quit smoking cigarettes, and because I needed to replace the habit of smoking something, so I was smoking joints instead of cigarettes. And then I started working with my doctor at the time to use CBD to manage my anxiety. But then, like, I kind of just overindulged a lot. And if you've been following me for a really long time or have seen my TikToks or my streams that I used to do, like, I was high as a kite all the fucking time. And that, I don't think I really fully processed how much that wasn't helping me until the last like 3 years. I definitely, like, I had a therapist tell me, do you think that you're smoking this much weed because you're numbing? And I was like, no, that's not what I'm doing at all. That's 100% what I was doing. I was definitely numbing because I had lost 4 grandparents in a very short amount of time. There was just a lot of other stuff going on. COVID started, more other personal stuff was happening. So I was 100% numbing. So the last 3 years, I stopped numbing, which created a wave of other issues for me. Like my anxiety, my depression, everything started hitting me like a fucking freight train. It honestly, I was like paralyzed with like anxiety for a while, and then like my hormones got messed up. Because if you didn't know, CBD can actually mess with your hormones. I don't have like the stats and research in front of me right now, but it can mess with your hormones. And so my body was so used to being on CBD that when I took it away, I personally think that's what triggered my hormonal imbalance. And if you've been following me for a while, I've briefly kind of mentioned that I've been struggling with hormone stuff for the last like 2 years. Like ever since I turned like 31, like it's just been a fucking issue for me. And so like that started a whole thing of me deep diving like how to fix that. And if you're listening to this and you have hormonal issues, D3 and B12 and protein, but we'll get into that in a second. So yeah, like I started deep diving stuff to like help with the hormone issues. And the last like year, I've just been like really trying to like understand myself and like why I am the way that I am, why I react to certain things the way I react, and how do I better myself, not just for me, but like for the people around me. Like I want to be able to not freak out, not freak out, but like not get so overwhelmed in a store that like I have to leave. Like I want to be able to, like be able to cook in the kitchen while there's 2 other people in the kitchen talking to me while a fan's going. Like I want to be able to do these things and not freak out. And by freak out, I just mean be so overstimulated that I just stop talking and I stop contributing. So anyways, I start deep diving certain things and tricks, and And then I ended up taking like an autism test, and I've taken this like 4 times ish. I think it's been like 4 times. I'm apparently on the spectrum, but like super low on the spectrum. So I'd be like highly functioning. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then I started researching it a little more. And so it's called ADHD. And basically, ADHD and autism overlap. And that's what makes ADHD. So like they share similar traits. So the overlap is like sensory issues, and then like hyperfixating and like interrupting, which I personally hate that I do that because I know that it's rude, but I sometimes cannot help it. Insomnia, which I'm real bad at sleeping. Restlessness, stimming, fidgeting, difficulty with friendships. My friends, I love them to death, but they know that I will sometimes just disappear. Creativity, OCD tendencies, executive function struggles, emotional dysregulation, depression, and anxiety. That's the overlap of autism and ADHD. Yeah, so like I started deep diving that, and I was like, oh, okay. And so like I'm clinically diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm self-diagnosed with a little bit of autism, which if you're self-diagnosed with autism, that's perfectly fine and valid. Just keep that in mind, because if you get clinically diagnosed with autism, I've heard there's not much that they can do with for that. So I don't know, save some time in a doctor bill and just do a ton of research. So my cousin had mentioned in passing if I had researched diet impacting ADHD and autism symptoms, and I knew that a diet could impact it, but I had never really taken the time to look into it. So I did, and I found that protein. Hold on, let me get my screenshot because I gotta read this to you guys. So I found that okay, omega-3s, which like is like fish, and like some other stuff has omega-3s, but I just eat a lot of fish, so that's the first thing that pops in my head. Omega-3s are believed to be important for brain and nerve cell function, and some research suggests that they can reduce ADHD symptoms. But then this is the next thing that I thought was really interesting. Protein, a high protein diet may improve concentration and possibly make ADHD medications work longer. Now, I'm not on medications, but like so I have started deep diving fitness because my hormones have just been so messed up, like I said earlier, that I learned that weight training actually helps with balancing hormones. And obviously walking a lot also helps. So I asked my friend like 3 or 4 days ago, and I said, I'm seeing results at the gym. I want to see more. How can I do that? And her first question was, how much protein are you intaking? And I'm like, I did like a protein calculator. You can Google it. And it's like, it told me for my body weight and for my age and my activity level, I should be intaking between 40 and 60 grams of protein. And for me, that's a lot because I don't eat a lot of food during the day. I told her that, and her jaw about hit the damn floor. She was like, dude, no, that's not enough protein. And she's like, you need to look at a macro calculator. So I did, and it told me that I should be intaking 115 grams of protein. That is a fudge ton of protein. And I'm like, okay, great. So the last like 4 days, she also told me since I don't eat a lot and I don't get a lot of protein, I need to ease my way in there. But my brain, I'm like, no, I've got to be perfect now. Don't do that. Ease your way into it. Otherwise you will get sick and not poop, apparently. So yeah, I'm on day 4. The highest I've been able to get to with my protein intake is yesterday I hit 71 grams of protein. Let me tell you how this is impacting me so far. I had so much energy yesterday. I was able to do my laundry, which if you have ADHD, you fucking know laundry is not fun to do and it's very difficult to do. And my laundry, it usually takes me 2 weeks to work up enough momentum to get it done. And then I do it and it sits on my fucking couch for like a week and I just pick out clothes from that. Like, it's fucking crazy. But once I upped my protein, I did my laundry no problem last night. And then I started a load of laundry this morning. And I'm like, what is happening? And I folded and put my laundry away last night. It is fucking wild. It was easy. It was so easy for me to do it. And I was like, what the fuck? And I had so much like oomph. I don't know how else to say it. I just had a lot of oomph. And then this morning, I had no issues getting out of bed. I got out of bed. I immediately made my high protein breakfast, which was like 19 grams of protein, went on a walk, came back, started another load of laundry, and I was like, I think I forgot to drink coffee. I did. I had forgotten to drink my coffee, which normally I rely on my coffee to get me going because it's a stimulant. And if you have ADHD, you need a stimulant to get you going. But I didn't feel like I needed it, which was absolutely insane. And this is only like day 3 or 4 of doing a high protein diet. So I'm going to keep doing it because it seems to be working. And also, not only does it help with like symptoms, but it like, I looked into it a little bit more, and you know, foods that are like, hold on, let me just pull up this study and just read it to you. Okay, it said, this is from Mental Health Connecticut, and it's like the first thing that pops up when you Google, can upping your protein help with depression? Foods rich in protein contain amino acids to help produce key neurotransmitters in preventing and treating depression and anxiety. That is crazy because I mean, like, I also, my depression, where is it? I don't know. I haven't seen it in a couple of days, which I'm not complaining. Anxiety, normally around like the nighttime, I get more anxiety, but like last night I was fine. I was like, fine. Like, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Anyways, there's a fuck ton of places of online that you can get this information from. So not only that, I don't even know if I said this earlier. I might have said this. I don't know. But it helps if you don't have enough protein in your diet, it messes up your hormones. So the hormone issues that I was having, I wonder if they'll be fixed with a high protein diet. I won't know for a month, but we're going to find out. Like, this is crazy if it works. Like, this one thing could be the issue, or like a, not issue. This one thing could be a solution to a lot of my ailments. I also suffer from heart palpitations, especially like mostly around my periods. Guess what solves that? Fucking protein. Protein can help stop your blood sugar from dropping, which can cause a heart palpitation. It's fucking wild. I swear to God, if a high protein diet is what like fixes me, I'm gonna lose my shit in a good way, obviously. Like, why haven't any doctors told me this? Why? I literally had to learn this from one of my friends, a shit ton of research, and another one of my friends who's a what is she? She's a herbalist. I think that's how you say it, herbalist. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. I heard from someplace, I don't remember where I heard this, But I guess like doctors aren't required to take a nutrition course anymore or ever. I don't know if they were ever supposed to, but I'm like, shouldn't that be a requirement? Because I feel like if people just know that there are natural ways to fix a lot of their stuff, like it's better than throwing a pill at them, right? Anyways, I digress. So yeah, like my energy has been great. My depression and anxiety, great. My hormones, TBD. I'll let you know if you're interested. Leave a comment below, and I'll make another podcast about it. So anyways, my cousin also asked me, like, how do I figure out like what's triggering me, like, and is it a autism trigger or is it an ADHD trigger? And honestly, like, you just kind of have to do a lot of self-reflection, and you have to kind of just be like, and now self-reflection and research. So like I'll take a situation for a while and like I would like write it down in my phone, be like, okay, store lights, I fucking hate them, I'm overwhelmed, I don't like them. And then I would go home and I would like look it up and see like which one that would fall under and like what could help with that. And I just kind of did that with like all of my symptoms that I was dealing with. And like then I just kind of saw what the internet was recommending, and then I trialed and errored. And that's kind of what you have to do. Like there's not like one solution that can help you. Like it's just all based on like what you find that helps, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that helps at all, but like that's just what I did. Just a shit ton of research to just better understand what the fuck's going on with myself. So I was also asked like tips and hacks, I guess you could call them, and like what I do to manage my ADHD without medication. And the number one thing I tell people is to wear shoes. I'm wearing tennis shoes right now. And people are like, "Oh my god, that's so gross. Don't wear shoes inside." Well, I'm sorry, but I have ADHD and it helps me focus. Otherwise, I would never get this fucking podcast done. Yeah, so with work stuff, I have a notepad on my desk and I go through notepads like crazy, but I find that physically writing my to-do list on that, or like physically writing anything that I need to get done or whatever, helps, because it helps with visualizing. I've tried to do it on my phone. It doesn't work. I have to do it with my notebook. I mean, a phone could work for you, I don't know, but like it doesn't work for me. I have to have it on a notepad sitting right in front of me at all times so that I visually can see it, because object permanence is a huge thing for me, and if it's not in front of me, it doesn't exist. Same with people. They're not in front of me, they don't exist. Sometimes when I'm working on something for a client, if I know that I can get it done in a day, I won't do it in a day. I used to do it in a day if I was on Adderall, but I'm not on Adderall anymore. So sometimes if it's a really big project and I get a little overwhelmed, I take it and I break it up into chunks. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this section today, this section tomorrow, and so on and so forth until it's done. And then it's just easier for me in my brain to digest it. And yeah, like it helps with me. And then also clearing my desk so that like I don't have like a shit ton of stuff on my desk. It's like I have like a couple of things that people have sent me on my desk because I like to look at them, and some post-it notes in my notebook that I was just talking about. I have those on my desk, but other than that, like my desk has to be clear. Otherwise I get distracted and it's very difficult for me to like focus on what I need to get done. And fidget toys. I have a fidget cube that I mess with sometimes, and it helps with stimming and it helps me keep focus. especially in like meetings and stuff. It helps a lot. So definitely get one of those. It'll help. But when I really like, sometimes I do these like website sprints. Well, that's what I call them. And me and a friend of mine will work with a client. We'll land them as a client, and then we push out a website within a week of getting them as a client. And it's very fast paced, and that's another reason why you guys haven't heard from me in a couple of weeks, because that's what I was doing. I was doing a website sprint, and sometimes I have to really focus. So if I have one of those moments where I'm having a hard time focusing, I turn on. You just look up brown noise on YouTube, and that it's like a specific frequency, and it will help you just zero in and focus. So look it up, give it a try, let me know if it works. I've also heard timers are a good way, but I've never really used timers. Honestly, timers kind of give me anxiety. I don't like being timed. So also, for some reason, walking in a circle helps me. So like if I have a meeting and we don't have to turn our cameras on, I 100% will just put my earbuds in and just walk in a circle, and I'll be able to retain everything that was said in that conversation. Why? I do not know. But if I have to sit there on camera and talk to somebody, it's a struggle. It is a struggle. I have to keep my shoes on, and I have to be fidgeting with something underneath my desk where they can't see. Even then, it's still kind of a struggle. My biggest thing that helps me the most is walking in a circle. So I don't know. Maybe I need to get one of those like self-propelling treadmills that you see people have, and they have like the standing desk. And I've seen memes. I don't know if you guys have seen memes about it, but there'll be like memes on LinkedIn of people like in calls, and they're just like bouncing on video, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "I gotta get my 20,000 steps in." Anyways, I thought it was hilarious. You probably don't, but anyways. Apparently white and pink noise is also a good thing to look into. I've never tried white or pink noise. And yeah, I think that's all I got really to talk about with the ADHD for now. I definitely, if you guys are interested, I will post more updates on how the protein stuff's going on. I've been really active in the Discord in the Let's Get Swole channel. I love the name. I've been talking with a friend of mine in there a lot about protein, and I've been posting like how much I'm able to eat and how hard it is for me to eat that much. So if you want to follow that journey, I'm in there. And if you're interested in hearing more about the protein journey later, I'm more than happy to make more podcasts about it. I'm not really sure how long they'll be, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If we get there. I do have a few people that want to come on the podcast. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to, I was going to say recording those. But one of them is we're going to be talking about work stuff, and the other one, we will not be talking about work stuff. We'll be talking about traveling and stuff like that. So that's in the pipeline. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. I don't know why I'm British now. Okay, I need to stop. All right. Anyways, I'm just going to end this now because I need to stop talking. Oh my God. Anyways, if you're not in the Discord and you want to be in the Discord, I'll link it below. If you want to chat about the podcast, we have a forum discussion channel, or it's not a channel, it's just a forum discussion, which I've never really used the forum function in Discord before, so I don't know. If you don't know where it is in the channel or in the server, just ping me or one of the mods, and we will show you how to get there. But that's where we're gonna chat about like upcoming episodes, what I have in the pipeline, or if something comes up, or when I'm going to be posting so you know when to expect it. But if you don't want to be in the Discord, but you do want to listen to the podcast, you can follow me on YouTube because I post there now, or you can follow me on Spotify. And if you really want to be edgy, I don't think edgy is the right word. I don't know why I use that word. You can check the website, but I don't update it as much as I should. So YouTube, Spotify is probably the best bet for you. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I know I ranted. I probably derailed a little bit, but you know, ADHD is a bitch, so whatever. Yeah, if you have any questions or want to know more about ADHD, leave a comment, ping me in the server, whatever you want to do. I will see it, and I'll make more content. I actually love talking about ADHD, so I would be happy to make more content about ADHD because it has been quite the journey for me. So anyways, I guess that's it. Bye. Love you. Wait, I don't know why. Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye.